All right. Welcome to the 159th episode of the Mina's House podcast, the very first podcast of 2020. Woohoo! 2021. That's right. 21. I'm Mina SayWhat.
I'm Shana B.
Garnett Briscoe.
Dexter.
Oh my God, our intro is so much shorter, guys. So we are live on Facebook. New year, new goals. So there, everybody who's watching is probably not a lot yet because we are doing this for the first time. But hello, we're gonna be live streaming every Tuesday around 8:45. From like 8:30 to 8:45, and then you can check out the episode dropping on the regular platforms: Facebook, not Facebook, SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and anywhere where you hear this podcast, you'll hear that drop on Thursdays. But you can watch the early taping on Tuesday nights between 8:30 and 8:45. So we have to get better at our timing.
Yeah.
So happy New Year's, guys. How was everything? How was your time off?
Not long enough.
I think this New Year celebration was the best one I've had. Like, again, anytime I get to spend with my family is amazing. I'm sick of taking COVID tests in order to see them, but it's worth it. But something happened that, like, my life has changed. So my mom asked me, she's like, did you wash your clothes? And I was like, no. She's like, you bringing dirty clothes into the new year? And I was like, yeah. She's like, me too. Never in my life has that ever happened. And like the fact that my mom said that, I was just like, I'm an adult now.
Mom is like, F it.
Yeah. And she's never done that before.
Are you one of those that, like, whatever you're wearing, like, some people are like, you got to do your nails, you got to do your hair, you got to look the right way, like everything got to be perfect because that's how you're setting up the year. Are you one of those?
Generally, this year, no.
No one was like that this year.
I just came into it like, whatever.
You were dressed up, Shana?
We do virtual church and I'm on the tech team. So I did get dressed up, although it was only the 5 of us there.
Okay, Shana.
Damn.
I had a new outfit. It was going to be worn somewhere.
I don't blame you.
Shana, you shining? What's up with the skin? The skin is glowing.
Well, I did start the Daniel fast yesterday.
It's working. It's working already.
Wait, what is that?
So no meat, no sugars. So just water.
No
vegetables. And for me, I'm not a big water drinker, so I've been having to drink water. So it could be already coming through.
Girl, I did that for 2 weeks. I almost died. Like, I can't.
Listen,
I literally almost.
A bad day.
Mm-hmm. Yo, it's crazy how cranky you get when you stop eating protein. Like, I did it for 2 weeks, never again. God bless you, girl. Because it was not cute. I mean, I felt incredible. The effects are amazing. But it's hard not to eat carbs and sugars and meat. It's in everything.
Yeah, I called my mom and said, all this healthy food making me hungry. Every time I eat, I'm hungry.
Right. How about you, G? How's your new year?
My New Year's is wonderful. That's always like a rough time for me. But I definitely, tried to make it better. My girlfriend also shares that day. That's her birthday. So I just spent a lot of time with family, spent some time with her. But yeah, it just was the family vibes, regular, got the food in. My aunts always do the tradition with the black eyed peas, the white rice and the greens. Those things are supposed to.
Is that a black thing?
I believe so. I believe so. Yeah,
it's a black thing.
Yeah, we don't do no black eyed peas.
I was gonna say it might be a southern thing that people interpret as a black thing because I do know I have some white friends down south that did it.
Okay. Yeah, then you may be right because I have a lot of family that that's where they come from. They come from down south, so I'm pretty sure some of those principles are there. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Watch the ball drop. Like I said, those days are just very emotionally charged. So the fact that, I was around, people to balance that out, that was able to balance that out was just, great and fantastic to me. So 2021, I'm ready to win. Let's go.
Yes.
Right.
Do you guys do the grapes? In my family, we eat grapes. like one for every month, and you're supposed to make a wish.
Is that a non-black thing?
Yes. That is a Spanish thing. Wait, or how about we put little lentils in a bag, and you're supposed to carry the lentils with you in your pocketbook, and that means that you're always gonna have money.
No, but I'm gonna try it.
Something with money though, they'll put like $20 in you're supposed to have $20 in cash or something like that in your wallet, and it's supposed to grow and make you get more money.
That's what I'm saying. There's little things like that people do. So my family does that. We do the lentils, even though we ain't do it this year. So I'm probably gonna be broke. And
don't say that.
And we do the grapes where you make a wish per grape. So I had a low key situation too, though. You know, I have a big family where it's normally a lot of us, and we're normally like dancing all night. And I mean, I think 2 years ago, my cousin hired a DJ. We were turning up for New Year's. You know, this year it was just me and my mom. We were in the bed. We were watching TV. I got a COVID test, and I came back negative, y'all.
All right now.
And that's four negatives, and that's pretty much it. So pretty low key. It was great though.
I'm sorry. No, I was gonna say that's funny just to see different like New Year's traditions, because I the whole black thing, and now this might be I don't know. This is actually kind of dope.
Everybody does different stuff. It's like different beliefs. It's like when people get married. Like some people, they have different traditions. They tell you to like bring something old and new and worn and torn out or whatever the hell they be saying. Just little superstitions. So, all right. So let's get into our feed because there's a lot going on today, a lot of breaking news situations. So coming across my screen a couple of hours ago is Kim and Kanye are apparently working out a divorce right now. Kim has hired an attorney. This is not a surprise, but what are your overall thoughts about all of this?
I mean, I guess like you said, it's not a surprise. We heard it was a few months back that this was potentially happening, and then it kind of seemed like it died off around like her birthday or something. I don't know. You saw them together and doing whatever with their kids, and obviously they got like 4 kids, so you know you're going to have to be amicable for these 4 kids. But I think like what I had read even a few months ago is that they've been living in kind of separate situations for quite some time as it is. So I'm not surprised. I mean, if anything, to be completely honest, I'm surprised it lasted this long.
Oh, yeah. I remember he tweeted and said he wanted to divorce her after she was hanging out with Meek Mill. That's when I was like, okay, things are going left. Because remember, he wouldn't talk to her, and there was pictures of her in the car bawling her eyes out. Like,
and he was like, Chris, don't call me. Chris, don't call me.
As weird as that sounds, though, I'm actually shocked that this is happening. And I think it's because, like, I remember when Kim and Kanye West first got together. Like, I just feel like it was yesterday when the two of them got together and they were walking down the street and he hit his face on that pole. Do you remember that? Like, I just remember all this, like how they used to dress and like the Kim. Like, I was a fan of them as a couple. And I think that it's weird to see this because I think Kanye West seems to have lost his way. And I just kind of thought Kim would like have his back through that. I really thought they had a real marriage and a real relationship. And it seems like when he like fell off a little bit, like she's out the door. And I'm shocked like that to see that.
I'll say this. I think, you know, y'all definitely have a great point of view. I'm gonna just look at it from the kid's standpoint and just say how awful that, you know, it might be just to not have both parents around.
Well, he's not around anyway.
Oh, I was gonna say, but you know, listen, they got a lot of money to make up for some things, so I don't know. I don't know. Ain't that bad having 2 big houses to go to. Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, it's just, you know, those experiences. You know, you just wish to, you know, you just want to keep a family together, one that you started. So now, you know, now to have his kids separated and now visitation and things like that, it's just gonna make things weird. As far as my surprising level, not too surprised. I think I would be more surprised if she filed. I think he been ready on some stuff. He just really moving in a different direction, whether that be, you know, for better or for worse. But he pretty much he's letting us know whether it's the music change. he's in a whole completely different lane, and so is she. Where she's not doing the same things. Her entire business model has changed. She's not on the Kardashians as much. She's in these courtrooms fighting for people. So it's just a lot going on. So I'm not surprised about it, but hopefully the kids will be fine at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either because of the reports that they were living separately, but I don't know why I really feel bad for Kanye, and I always do this. Like even when he's at his worst and people are dragging him, I have like a soft spot for Kanye because people forget he is suffering from mental health issues, and whether you want to think it's true or not, whether you think it's severe or not, it's clear from his actions that he's suffering from mental health issues. And as a woman dealing with a man, it's hard, and but on the other side too, I feel extremely bad for him because I think after he lost his mother, I think the Kardashians really gave him a sense of family. Mm-hmm. And that's something that he really enjoyed. But at the same time, they're so public that I think even that was very detrimental to him and his mental health. Because I'm sure it didn't make it easy, and for him to deal with what he's dealing with, and then the scrutiny of the public, and even you having mental health issues and people saying you don't, like the kind of stuff that's said on social media. So I feel really bad. Whereas like, who's going to be his support system now, and are we going to see him spiral even further? I mean, he literally ran for he ran for president. I don't think she like encouraged him at all. Like I didn't see a vote for Kanye, Instagram post or nothing. Like there was like zero support. So I think she's had enough. I think it's been rough on her mentally to deal with him. And it's sad because I feel like maybe he might start unraveling even more. I hope not.
He might gain his sanity back. A lot of people say we might get the old Ye back. Don't be, this might be greatness on the horizon.
No, but you brought up a good point, Mina, about the family. You're right. Like, had he found a girl with Mina and he just had, the family gatherings, that might have been helpful for him, but in a private type setting. Mm-hmm. And I'm not blaming this one, her family, because obviously he is very vocal that he's dealt with mental illness all his life, and his mother was very key in keeping him off of drugs.
Right.
And she kind of helped him manage his episodes. So I do have to imagine it's just a hard situation for all of them. I can't bash Kim because I can't imagine dealing with somebody that's on TMZ saying you're supposed to take 17 pills, but you're only taking 2. That don't sound like it's right to me. Right. It sounds like they gave you 17 for a reason. But again, with mental illness and the way those drugs make them feel, he probably feels like, I don't feel like myself, my creative self.
I was gonna say that because they be handing out drugs like let's see if this works, and then it has an adverse side effect. And I'm pretty sure his creative can't even operate. I mean, they say it's a thin line between insanity and creative genius. Mm-hmm. And I think that Kanye is there. And I remember when she said, remember when he calls her Chris Jong-un? he said Chris Jong-un tried to take him to a psychiatrist. And like, they try to get him committed. Like no one going through mental illness wants to get committed, let alone a Kanye. Mm-hmm. So this is just very unfortunate. Mm-hmm. I'll keep an eye on this. I think this is gonna get ugly because I don't know. Have you guys seen their Calabasas house?
The one that he just like was building or something?
He built that house, and apparently that house is so incredible that it was an Architectural Digest. Yeah. Kim owns the land. So she owns the land and he built the house. Gotcha. So who keeps the house?
She do.
She put all 4 of those kids. Y'all keep saying y'all feel bad for Kanye. I feel so bad for Kim. Kim is literally going to have to sit in the house with 4 kids every single day while Kanye West is in Wyoming having fun with the choir. Kim is going to be like Kim Kardashian used to be out in the streets every day, living her best life.
Garnett just said she changed her life around. She is about social justice.
She changed it around. And I want to be in the courtroom doing social justice stuff, but when I go home, I don't want 4 kids running around. Have you ever seen Kim's videos? Them kids be in there like, pick me. She'd be like, give me a minute. She's
Wait, but Kim got money, so it's not like she got to deal with her kids. Like,
they got nannies.
Right. And she got hella sisters. You go off with Kylie and them. Go ahead.
Kendall ain't got none yet. We gonna send you all to Kendall.
Right.
Kendall.
Kendall, you babysit.
My question is this: like, so who dates Kim Kardashian after this? Like,
I was thinking
like,
that no man gonna want Kim Kardashian at this point.
Yo,
like,
no, they are.
Kim is gonna be looking at him like, you have to literally be like Elon Musk. Like, it's I Kanye West. Who is gonna be like,
yeah,
shoot your shot.
Yeah,
shoot your
I think
shot.
she'll have suitors, but like you said, it's gonna be a hard choice for her of who fits in her categories. But she definitely gonna have men coming after her. You know how y'all men do.
First of all, this woman been married like 4 times, okay? She will be married, okay? And within 2 years.
And the reason why those didn't work is because they tried to force her to change her last name. I'll change my last name for her. I'll be Garnett Kardashian for the rest of my damn life.
GK.
Yep, GK.
All right, moving on. Clubhouse. So I'm an Android user. I hear is real messy. I've literally gotten like maybe 10 invites to Clubhouse, and I just can't. But I hear real messy stuff. When I talk to my friends about it, it sounds like, remember the party line? People used to go on the party line and find strangers to talk to.
Yep.
That was called the loop in my day. That was called the loop.
She mentioned both those things, the party line, the loop, and she's like, is that what Clubhouse is? And I'm like, I've never heard of the party line, the loop. I think there must be a you thing. And now
the party line.
Like, how you don't know about the party line? How you don't know about the loop? I guess I was just always a saint in my life. I never heard of that, but that I heard was messy. What y'all was doing on there, y'all was being nasty.
Clubhouse. Oh yeah. Look, wait, yo, in the party line, you used to dial a number, right? I don't even remember how we used to get the number. I don't know if it was like through AIM. I don't remember, but you used to get the numbers and dial in. There used to be hella people, and it's like used to come up with code names. So I'd be like, I'm sexy Mina from Jersey or whatever.
How do you know who you're talking to?
Wait, so you introduce yourself and then you all are just having a general conversation. And then like, if you're interested, they'll be like, yo, sexy Mina from Jersey, go to chat room number 215. So that you would go and dial in 215 and it would take you to a private chat. And then y'all could talk on your own. Yeah. And if someone tried to enter the private chat, it would tell you like, so-and-so has entered and you can kick them off. So, or I don't remember, but it was hella fun. I found hella dudes. Now I never met any of them. Like I would just talk to them on the phone and keep it moving. My mama taught me right. But that's what Clubhouse feels like to me. But I haven't been on it. Like, what's your experience with it?
I like it.
You like it? I saw you've been on there a couple times. I was trying to jump into something you were on, but I saw it too late. And that's how I feel like. I'm one of those people like, oh yeah, this is cute. This is cool. And then I'm like, I'm okay.
So for me, like I've realized that like, I don't want to use this how I use like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. So I only follow my industry. I only follow my industry friends. I don't follow like my regular like high school and college friends because like then they're getting in groups that are either one, like in tune with their industry or two, like what they're into. And I don't really need to go on Clubhouse to talk about the Cowboys or talk about like what's on TV. Like I only go on there to listen to like podcasts and YouTube tips and tricks and stuff like that. Like I don't care about the other stuff. And I think you go on there and Mina, you're right. Like there's a lot of messy stuff on there. Like literally every single night you go on there, Lakeith Stanfield is in a room moaning and paying people to moan and whatnot. And like, if people are into that, they click on it and they go into that and that's their Clubhouse experience. But for me, like, I'm on there for like business and it's not for a long period of time either. I'm in and out.
Yeah, that's I'll go ahead, Shane. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say there are some like incredible conversations that I see happening. And then sometimes I'm like, wait, can I jump in this one? Because to your point, a lot of the people that I follow are deep in the music industry, and then I'll see what they're talking about, and I'm like, I ain't going in there. Because then they be like, and Shayna, how about you? And I'm like, huh? I'm laying in the bed eating popcorn. But there are like a couple of conversations I listen in while other people been on Clubhouse. And then sometimes it's funny when people don't realize that they're not on mute, just like Zoom and everything. So I've heard some really good ones. I haven't really been a part of the messy ones, but I have heard about the messy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think even with my short experience with it, I signed up and I've entered here. I've dibbled and dabbled a little bit here and there, but not too much. What I've came across, is so early on that it's a great opportunity to get a chance to talk and be in a room with people that you either may admire or think that you can learn from, which is really good. I listened to, I guess, the guy Justin LeBoy or whatever his name is, whoever is that his name, Justin LeBoy.
Oh, the one that they think is Meek Mill. They think Meek Mill is like secretly him.
Okay. So
Yeah.
apparently I get notifications from
All day long.
exactly. So I randomly not random. I accidentally opened it up, and when it went, everything started talking. It was actually Diddy, being interviewed talking about the '90s and talking about some of these classic records. It was actually I guess the anniversary for Last Train to Paris. So they did that, and then they mixed in the music, and I thought the way that they maneuvered that was like super dope. It's a really good way and an early way to, I guess, kind of like push your message if you have an agenda. And the one thing I would say I don't like, because it makes me feel like a kid, and that's the part that's why I don't sign on a lot, is the moderation thing. I get it, but come on, I'm not just gonna be sitting here. Like the hardest thing to do is sitting in a room full of people and not being able to say nothing.
Right.
So like to raise my hand and like to 600 people in here, I'm never getting called on probably. I raised my hand and it's like, this is really good, but they have their select few still. So I think for people like myself, or people, maybe creating my own room, or, getting in with smaller people, that are like-minded for things that I want to hear. Cause those other rooms, they ain't letting nobody talk.
I was
You
gonna
know,
say, or to your moderation point where they call on you and you ain't want to talk about that. That's what I'm saying. Like they just call you out. You like, okay.
Shayna, like,
you know what though? I kind of like that idea better than like Instagram Live. I've tried to do different things on Instagram Live, but I think it would be more interesting if you could add more people and actually make it like a conversation. I think it's very limiting to just like be able to go live with one person. You should be able to literally go live with a lot of people. And if I could do that, I feel like I would maybe even start an Instagram show. So I can just like plug in different people. But I kind of like that idea because it's like you're having a group conversation. And I feel like the group conversations we've been having online have been very like typing, and a lot of the times you can't really read into someone's tone, into what they mean. So a lot of the times when you're typing and going back and forth via typing, it sounds hostile sometimes. Like, is this person coming from my neck? And it starts a lot of drama. I think maybe the interactions would be different if you could talk to a lot of people at one time, and kind of have those conversations that way. Which is what it seems like Clubhouse is to me, even though I'm not on it, but that's what it seems like it is to me. So y'all can come on over to Android.
They'll be there shortly.
So wait, that's what I was about to say. I didn't realize Android can't get it.
No, I haven't been able to get in. I've gotten like 10 invites.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
It's just it's the infant stages. So, I think all of this is just like data that they're going to collect. Eventually, if they want some money, the whole world going to have this. So we'll see.
It definitely looks like it blew up. Like when I downloaded the app, when I got it says at the top of the app, bear with us. I'm like, when have you ever read that when you're like downloading the app?
Right. Well, it's like we try to get it together. Please understand.
Right. Yep.
All right. Speaking of getting it together, this was surprising to me. The Grammys have postponed the ceremony to March 14th. It was supposed to happen at the end of the year, January 31st. Now, it's interesting because when we were talking about the Grammy nominations and we had some of the Grammy representatives join us, that was part of our behind the scenes conversation. We didn't necessarily get to it with them, but it's like, what is the Grammys going to look like with COVID? Is it going to look like some of the award shows? It's been interesting to see how different award shows have tackled the pandemic. I mean, I even noticed it for Rockin' New Year's Eve. Did you guys feel like the shows were so weird? Like they almost felt empty. It's like,
well, I wouldn't know because I was up there in clouds watching it. It looked amazing to me. I saw people out there having a good time. So, it's just like last year.
Really?
Mina, I was up. Up there.
I was gonna say, to your point, like the performances, I feel like sometimes performers feed off of the crowd's energy, and some of them I was like, okay.
But
like,
then but then I almost felt like they were searching for content, because at one point they had the girl from Univision on there, and I was like, what the hell? And it had like Univision in the background, and I'm like, is this Univision? Like, I thought this was, ABC. So I felt like they were fishing. And did you notice, Steve? And this is a complete tangent, but Steve Harvey was supposed to host a show on Fox.
Yeah.
And he just didn't do it.
Oh no!
What you mean? Like he didn't show up?
No, they had the bull from the Masked Singer, John Pale, whatever.
Oh, the Asian guy.
Yeah. What's they had him and some other white comedian hosted, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Fox, it's great. I didn't even turn to Fox.
I didn't turn to Fox either.
I was just flipping to see what everybody was doing at 12 o'clock at night.
I'm an ABC boy. Like I just feel like that's just what I'm supposed to watch. ABC. Like that's it. But as far as the Grammys go, two
good way to bring it back.
Two comments I have about the Grammys. One, this makes me so happy to know that it's not January 31st, because like that's my birthday weekend. And like every year the Grammys fall on that Sunday. But I'm a wrestling guy, and Royal Rumble is always the same time. And this year I don't have to double screen it. I can watch one show and concentrate. God bless the Grammys for that. But then the second portion of it, I feel like, and this is like, I feel bad saying this just specifically because we had Grammy representatives on, and like they were amazing and they really gave us great information and really made us think before we talk a little bit. But I just feel like this move shows how outdated the Grammys are, and it kind of bothers me how outdated they are, because like the pandemic started in March, so you've had over a year at this, a little under a year at this point to kind of figure out how you wanted to move and how you wanted to do this. But then there's other award shows: BET, MTV, American Music Awards, Billboard Awards, People's Choice Awards, Critics' Choice Awards. All these award shows were able to go about and like pivot and find a different way to entertain us. And Grammys is the biggest night in music, and you can't do that. Like that's kind of lame to me. And then to cite COVID when we've seen all these other award shows do it, like again with wrestling, these are people who are like they're wrestlers, and they're finding ways to pivot and entertain their fans. For the Grammys not to do that, it's just outdated and lazy to me.
I just think it's ridiculous that they were going to do it live in the first place. Right. Like, what? I don't understand how they thought that was going to happen. Like, how did y'all really think? And then the problem is, even if you could pull off a COVID-free live Grammy weekend, you get people tested, you put the money into it, even if you could pull it off, right? How you gonna stop people from partying and doing like the pre-Grammy, after Grammy situations?
I think that's what it is. Because that's what
right.
the actual show. Like, that's more important.
Right. But then like even in California, how they're stretched where they've had to go back into lockdown.
Right.
Like you just can't create that environment where that will allow people to party. Well, you know?
That's what I was going to say. I think obviously they made the decision because even if you had all the performers tests and everything, it just would look socially irresponsible, even if you're super safe at that live performance, to do it in LA with everything LA is going through.
Right.
Kind of to Dexter's point, again, knowing that we could be here because we all knew the second wave was coming. Obviously, LA did not realize they would be that hard hit. Like, there could have been some planning of like, all right, well, let's have this person tape this in their hometown and do
Right.
and make it work versus being like, this is the way we always do it. So it got to be done, this way kind of thing. Because, yeah, I mean, LA is a bad situation right now, in terms of COVID and the numbers and everything of that nature.
I feel like it possibly could have been pulled off. I think, just to go back to y'all point, it's the party and that like they got to take into account, and it's kind of hard because it's not. I mean, I guess they are like a corporation in a sense, but um, I'm just taking the NFL and the NBA for example. These guys are traveling, but they're all on one mission. They're not independent contractors coming in from out of town to get into different things, so that makes it hard. Where the only way you could do it, look at the NBA with the bubble, where it's like, hey, if you're coming here, this is where you're staying, and this is what this is. You can't go to Atlanta to get hot wings. You know what I'm saying? Lou Will.
Well, Lou Will can.
Well, he got suspended for it. But yeah, it's just don't. They aren't able to to put those into place, and if they could, I'm pretty sure they would. But who's agreeing to that? Like, I don't think Future is gonna come to LA and not party. Like, are you kidding me? I don't think Diddy is. He lives in LA, but he's people gonna do what they want to do.
No, not Diddy. Diddy told y'all don't come to my house for New Year's Eve. I'm not partying. He said I'm not changing my mind. Give Diddy that credit.
Wait, but what were the videos for New Year's Eve where he was partying with no mask on? With who was it? Was it Future? Who was it?
It wasn't in his house.
He
didn't say I'm not gonna party.
He does have one of the largest parties. So, but I guess Garnett, just to what you're saying, going back to the Grammys, then yeah, why couldn't there have been Future? You tape your video in Atlanta, and Diddy, we tape your performance in LA. Like, I guess that's what I'm saying is you still could have put. Yes, it wouldn't have been, but nothing is like we
perfect.
Before. It wouldn't have been that, but it still could have been a way to have the show and have people get their awards and go from there.
Listen, you could have had Alicia Keys out there doing melodies between every performance, and it would have been amazing.
Think about it. The week after that, we're gonna get a Super Bowl. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this stuff is still happening, and the fact that the Grammys can't get it together, like, it's insulting, to be honest with you. It bothers me.
You know what's crazy? Nobody's even talking about the Super Bowl. The Weeknd is headlining, and everybody's like, the Super Bowl. Like, do you guys feel that way?
I was gonna say, no, they will be surely. I just think the Cowboys didn't make it, so there's nobody. A lot of their fans is nobody to cheer for. Exactly. The Eagles didn't make it. A lot of their fans. Because I hate them too, but I do recognize that they have a lot of fans, and if they're not excited, we usually hear excitement from them because all they want to do is brag, but they stink this year. Unfortunately, the Eagles is down, so it's not like the Eagles just want to get to the draft. They don't care about nothing right now. Right, and so it's like at least for the area, it's like, well, who do we go for? Like, I don't know if somebody's rooting for Pittsburgh, the Giants. Like, nobody from like around here is in it except Baltimore. That's the closest.
Yeah,
we're in Philly and New Jersey for the people in Egypt,
right?
who listen to us. So,
but I was gonna say that is kind of sad though. Now that you're saying it, if they could pull off somehow having teams come in, obviously they're not gonna have a bunch of fans. Super Bowl, we couldn't get some pre-tape performances.
I mean, it really just requires some pre-planning is what it requires. And clearly they didn't do that. I mean, the fact that they made the announcement 30 days, I mean, what is it today? Like 25 days before it was supposed to air. I mean, this is definitely a last minute decision. And it's like, yeah, if you were going to cancel, this should have been done 2 months ago. I mean, what were you waiting for? The numbers to go down, the vaccine to hit? Like
maybe they said, let's see how they act over New Year's Eve. If they don't act up over New Year's Eve and they stay in the house and be socially distanced, we can have this show. And then they turned on TV on New Year's Eve and said, God,
LA was in a bad situation prior to New Year's Eve, so.
You know what though? I used to get so angry. Now I don't even care when people don't follow the rules. Like, just stay away from me. Like, I literally, J-Lo had a freaking party, like, and people are dragging her. I don't even care anymore. Like, as long as y'all not around me, y'all wanted to be irresponsible, that's on you. Now, speaking of getting COVID, before we move on to our topic, Ashanti, and so it was a last minute holiday situation. So here's the backstory with the Ashanti interview. So Ashanti apparently was supposed to do like a whole video run, like a video press thing, and they canceled it last minute because she didn't feel up to it because of COVID. So they said strictly telephone, right? And it was like a very last minute thing. So I wanted to bring it up because Dexter, you're like the biggest Ashanti fan. So I mentioned to her that you're the biggest Ashanti fan, and she remembered you.
No, I heard, like that was like a Christmas gift. I don't think you understand. Like it was, like, it's just one of those situations where, like, you ever go into Starbucks and you go in Starbucks like often, but they just like, oh hey, and then they just write your name down or whatever. You ever go in there one day and they write your name down before you give it to them and they know your order? That's what that was for me. Like it was like, she knows my order. Like what? How do I exist? Oh man, what a life I live, man. Like,
and I felt bad because I wish you could have been on the interview, but the way that it like played out, it was like it's last minute phoner only, and she just didn't feel up to like logging on to Zoom or doing any of that.
It's probably best that it happened the way that it did.
But
I
look,
the whole time like this, just like looking. Like,
but it's the setup of she knows you already. Right. Like
I know
she knows you got the. I described the shirt that you have where she liked your comment and she remembered you.
Which, by the way, the anniversary of that is Christmas Day. You can't even write this story. Like this is it.
So when you actually get the opportunity to interview her for the first time, she's going to be like, yo, so many people told me about you. You really are my number one fan.
And I'm going to say, why you ain't following me back on Twitter?
You petty. Why didn't you follow me back?
Yo, she follows, he's going to be wearing a whole nother shirt.
Right.
Where it says Ashanti followed you.
He gonna turn into an IG honey. They're gonna be out here.
All right. So moving on to our topic. I didn't really want to talk about resolutions or anything like that because I read this article. Everybody got the same resolutions. Everybody's trying to lose weight, save money, find love, get a new job. It's literally like all the same thing. But I did notice TV-wise, there's a lot of shuffling going along right now. I mean, recently they got rid of like some of my favorite shows. So Claws with my girl Niecy Nash is gone. So I want to start no arguments. It's the new year. Okay.
I didn't realize it was still coming on though.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't shade, Shana.
Don't do that.
She's on there, right? Karuchi. She's on there, right?
Karuchi's on it. Niecy Nash. So Claus is gone. Black Lightning is gone with my girl Nafisa Williams. So that's gone. Ozark is gone.
What?
Yes. Gone. So, and then I was looking at all the stuff that's coming back. So there was a very interesting list of movies that are dropping in 2021. So Coming to America 2 is dropping this year. Black Widow is dropping. Godzilla versus Kong. Spider-Man 3. Space Jam with LeBron James.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know how you're going to first of all, how you're going to outdo Michael Jordan. But I feel like it's going to be so different with the special effects that are available now.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see that. Cruella. So somehow they're going to tell the story of the woman who was killing puppies for fur coats.
Really?
And then
That's what she was doing this whole time? That's a good movie because I did not know.
I was going to tweet about that the other day. I was going to tweet about that the other day, definitely.
And then Fast and the Furious 9, the new Venom, and then the new Minions, right? That's just movies.
That sound like all of them about to start a rock. He's in every big time movie.
One of
He's the biggest actor of all time. I've never seen this many personal movies before.
But then I'm so overwhelmed with stuff on TV. Like there's the movies, but now like I can't even keep up. Like first I want to start with The Bachelor. because I've never watched The Bachelor ever in my life. But I watched Lindsay, the Lindsay girl, the first Black Bachelorette. So I watched her, and now this is the first Black Bachelor. So I was wondering, like, I wanted to talk about that, but then I also wanted to talk about what other things you're looking forward to watching in 2021, because I just feel like I'm really overwhelmed when it comes to TV watching.
Shoot, I know Snowfall's coming out with a new season.
I saw that.
Really? I cannot wait.
I saw it yesterday, as a matter of fact.
He got a cane now. He's a little disabled right now, but we're gonna get it. I'm really excited about that. I really don't watch many shows, many new shows. I watch older shows and stuff, but I'm really excited about that. I thought Power that just went off was phenomenal, so I am excited for the new Kanan. What? You don't think that last episode was phenomenal? It was. That last episode was
right.
I'm
the
very
last episode was popping, but it was right.
I'm very easy to entertain. That's it. I'm easy.
I'm confused with Power because I didn't even realize it was back on. It came on for like 3 episodes. And like now it's off, so I feel like I'm behind. And now they're already prepping for the new Tommy episode that's coming out, and the Kanan episode. So I just feel like confused.
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of doing like the little break where it's usually 2 weeks. This one they actually took like a month or so off to give us the second half. So I think they finish it off with 4 episodes.
Yeah, but see, they're being really secretive about that, because I remember like the first week I was like, oh, it's not on. The second week I was like, oh, it's not on. And this is somebody I think the show is right, but I'm interested in it. And then I Googled it, and it said they weren't being like, it wasn't because of COVID, because it was already filmed. And they said like they weren't really being upfront of why they took a break.
Right.
Because remember the week that it went off, it wasn't like how Scandal, when them used to do like in 4 weeks. It went off like next week, and then next thing you know, they were like, oh, we're gonna come back December 15th or whatever made up day that they came back. So it was, I don't know if there was like an internal thing going on, because it was something really strange about why they did that the way they did that. And maybe it was because they knew they wanted to be more in line with the Tommy one dropping out. Like I don't know, but something that wasn't originally planned happened with that Power thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think for me, like I love watching TV. Like I'm a TV person, and like a lot of the shows that I like love haven't, like they've been on like these long breaks. Like This Is Us came back for a little bit. Now they're back. They're coming back today, actually.
Tonight,
Tuesday. This Is Us is one of the shows that I love that's coming back. Law and Order, Chicago PD, like 911, like those type of shows like that I watch. Like
you watch all the cop shows.
Oh, I loved it. Love the cop shows. A Million Little Things. I love those shows. But the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is WrestleMania. We should be getting to WrestleMania in March. And like, it's crazy because the last time we actually had a real WrestleMania was in 2019. It was in New Jersey, and I attended. And like, I almost kind of feel like I'm bad luck. I attended WrestleMania, then the next year we basically didn't get one. So like this year I'm looking forward to a new WrestleMania. I can somewhat redeem myself, and then like it just put the world back right again. Like there were people with WrestleMania, we do a Hall of Fame ceremony. There were people we were inducting last year. They never got inducted to the Hall of Fame. Like, I just feel like this year is going to write so much history. I'm so excited about it. Also, just a real quick note about wrestling. They mentioned your girl Cardi B yesterday, and she was all up and down her timeline talking to all these wrestlers, retweeting them and stuff like that. So I ain't the only one. Cardi B likes wrestling too.
I used to love wrestling, but when The Rock left, I left. So
that's what Cardi B said, actually.
I was like, I'm out. All right, I'm gonna head out.
The reason why you watched The Rock. Damn.
But I am really excited about Law and Order SVU. I am so excited because for everybody that watches, Stabler, it started off with Benson and Stabler, and then he left. Stabler is coming back, and I'm so excited. And supposedly he's getting like a spinoff.
Question. So which, because it's a lot of SVUs.
Yeah. Well, it's only
really
one.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of Law Orders, so I'll be getting confused.
Right.
What network is this on? That's just for me.
So it's an NBC, but like Law and Order come on every cable network. The reruns like USA, Ion, We. the reruns.
See, here's the thing. I don't watch any of those cable shows anymore. Like
But that's his network. That's NBC.
I don't watch any of that. Like I'm stuck on Netflix. That's why I feel like overwhelmed with everything.
Too.
What happened?
So you can watch Law and Order Pioneer too. I want to make sure you can watch them.
I don't want to watch them. Go away.
I was gonna say now cable. I am so excited, and I know it was delayed because of COVID for Handmaid's Tale to come back on Hulu. Like I am upset. I never watched it, and when the pandemic first started, I was like, all right, let me just watch it. It was to the point that I would be up at 3:30, like, all right, can I do another episode? And so now I wish I wouldn't have done that, because then when I read like, okay, when is the new, and it was like, oh, it got pushed back due to COVID, but it's supposed to be taping. So I'm very, very excited for that. Like those Law and Order, Handmaid's Tale. I thought Ozark was coming back, so Mina
just
it's gone.
Just went ahead and just put the knife in there. Yeah, that hurts right there. Those ones I'm excited. But watching The Bachelor, I wasn't really a fan of the show either. And watching it with this guy Matt, and you know, he is the first Black Bachelor, but he made it very clear last night that he doesn't, not that he doesn't like that title, but that, you know, he is mixed. And he is very close to his mother, and his mother's white, his father's Black, and he felt like that should be recognized. And that's why I couldn't wait to see what Dex had to say.
That's what you just said. Like that's a mess to me. I think that's BS, and I think that like the reason that you were put on there is because people were saying that there's no Black person on there, there's no African American man on there, and for you to go on there and not be that, like I think that's insulting, and it's kind of a waste of time. It's almost kind of like, we're gonna give you a Black Bachelor, but he's going to be half white. He's going to let you know that more than likely he's going to be with a white girl. We're going to put a bunch of white girls in here. I think that's BS, because like they've had, I don't watch it, but I'm sure they've had seasons where they've had a white man on there and a bunch of white women in the house. It's kind of almost like there is no way possible that they're going to have a Black man in here who's interested in Black and Latino women and have Black and Latino women in this house for 13 weeks or however long they're on there on ABC. They're just not gonna do it. So like, don't half-ass it. Like, don't half give us something and be like, look, we gave you one. No, like go all the way. Do it like how they would do Flavor of Love. Put them on there. Like, do that.
Listen, Dex, you took the words right out of my mouth, Dex. I swear that's what I was raising my hand for. They just don't want to turn into Flavor of Love. They refuse. They're doing all of that. They're doing everything, but I mean, as far as and that's on a big network too, like
ABC.
Mm-hmm. Right? So even if something like that, to your point, Dex, you know, it don't necessarily have to be the type of people that was on the Flavor of Love VH1. It's a lot of, you know, Black and Hispanic professionals that could, you know, deserve an opportunity for that. Just to piggyback off what you said.
Well, I wanted to kind of talk about that because, you know, when Lindsay, the first Black Bachelorette, was on, they mixed her up too. She had white and Black men and she ended up with the white man.
I bet.
So, but it's the thing, like, does it?
I guess was mixed too.
That's crazy.
But that's what I'm saying. Does it take away, or like you think it takes away?
Yeah, because you know why?
Like it's
wow.
If he didn't, the way the conversation went, I think is what made me start feeling like it was taken away. Like I get that. Like you have to be proud of who you are. I have cousins that are mixed. We have these conversations very often because they do represent, you know, multiple races. But then when he started getting into, and I don't want people rooting for me to date a certain kind of person, like then I felt like you was putting it out there, like almost putting it out there, like I'm not going to be with a Black woman. And I guess that was then my problem was the way the conversation continued to lead down. Because I'm not saying that you should be proud of coming from multiple races, but the conversation started going real left to like almost defend his choice of women. And it's like, you haven't met these women though yet. And you're kind of already saying, I'm probably not going to wind up with a Black woman, so I don't want to hear y'all mouth.
You know what though? I thought it was weird that he pulled him aside. Chris, like the main white guy, he pulled him. I don't know if they, like I said, I've never been into The Bachelor, so I don't know if this is customary. But my interpretation is you meet the Bachelor and then she meets the girls. I was surprised by, can I talk to you for a little bit? And he pulled him aside and it was like, these are some of my concerns, you know? And that's the thing, like, because he's a Black Bachelor, does he have to pick a Black woman? Like,
no.
I wouldn't say so, but I feel like you didn't have to put it out there basically saying, I'm not, like, and don't come for me when I don't. Like, again, like you have your choice and we wouldn't have known the difference.
I agree. And a step further than that, I don't think y'all need, and I'm not saying ABC did this, but they did. Don't promote it as the first Black Bachelor. Don't do that, because when you do that, of course, people are going to be like, oh, this is a Black love type of thing. And that's not what you're trying to do. You just want to put a Black looking man in there or a Black man on there, and you want to get the attention. You want to get a Black audience, which you're currently getting. Black people are watching the show that they don't watch, but like you're watching it. And I think the more you watch it, the more you'll be like, oh, I get what this is. Like, you're giving us this, but you're giving us this with like a caveat. And like Garnett and I were just saying, I don't think there's no reason why you couldn't have professional Black women. I'm not saying it needs to be a Black show, but I'm just saying, like, you could have had professional Black women in there and this Black man in there and let them do their thing. And then next season, do something else, do a mixed person, do whatever. Like, you could do that. You guys choose not to do it. And that's just the issue.
So let me ask you something. Like I said, I've never watched The Bachelor, so they've never had like a white man and Black women as a choice for the white man.
I'm sure they have.
That's what I'm saying. How is it different?
So but in the past, and I've not watched it religiously, but I watched the ceremonies like that they had yesterday, or the day it came on. In the past, what they've done is they'll throw in one Hispanic girl, one Black girl, one mixed girl, and primarily all the rest. If it's 20 of them, we get in 3 of color, and then it's 17 that's Caucasian. You know what I mean? So I guess that's the thing, is I do see they try to do a mix, but again, it wasn't like you really tried to do a mix. And some of that, like you said, when he pulled him aside, I feel like just watching the show, like ABC makes it so dramatic. Like,
right,
Bravo or something, like with the girl that he kept on the show, like, they made him keep that girl on the show just for drama, because she was horrible and she was like drunk by the end of the show. But so that's my other thing, is I think they wanted the award and the nugget because this happened during COVID, during social injustice, to say, oh, we're going to go pick the first Black bachelor. And again, I'm not saying that he's not Black. He is Black and he is white. But knowing they obviously interviewed him and they knew how strongly he felt and what he was going to say. That conversation didn't happen, and they didn't know it was not going to happen. They knew it was going to happen.
I wonder if they ask the bachelors what their preference is in women.
Absolutely. Because what's the point of doing the show if you don't have their preference there?
Right. So maybe his preference is I'm open to anything. Yeah, I'm sure. And I think right, but I think as the first Black bachelor, people probably expect him to pick a Black woman, and if he doesn't, I think he's prefacing it saying like, I'm just gonna be open to love no matter what happens. Look at Lauren from the Netflix show.
Oh yeah.
She ended up with a white man. Yeah, and she loved his ass. They still married.
Love is blind.
To be clear though, there's no issue with interracial dating. Like I don't have. That's not the issue at all. I think that's great. I think you love who you love, you like who you like. Like, that's not an issue. Your preference is your preference.
Right.
But I'm just saying, if you're gonna put this out there, like you're promoting this as the first Black bachelor, like why not make it more like Black people? Like, if you're trying to do the representation thing, like find somebody, don't you do him, find somebody else who is interested in more women who of color. If you want to put more people of color on TV, find somebody who's interested in women of color, put them in there and let them do their thing. It's like you guys are afraid to do that. And it's like I almost feel like they put it to a point where we're not allowed to complain about it. We're not allowed to say anything about it, because look, we gave you a Black bachelor. He doesn't have to pick a Black woman, which is true, but like, why not pick somebody who does want to pick a Black woman? Because you've done that with white men.
Well, here's where I think they messed up. They messed up by having that conversation up front.
Yes.
Because you already set it up. I think it would have been different because I thought that was weird. And then even Chris was like, we don't normally do this. So like, and they made it seem like, okay, well, this warrants a conversation because so in the past, and I only know this from reading because I don't watch that show at all. I mean, I watch Flavor of Love. I'm not watching that. So, but they said from the beginning that normally they pick the Bachelor or the Bachelorette from other shows that they've done. So this is the first guy that they literally just plucked out of the air. They don't know him.
He was supposed to be on The Bachelorette with Claire Crawley, and then they stopped production on that because of COVID. And then again, now social injustice. And so somehow they decided, because he was nominated by another bachelor's mom, like his
Somehow.
white friend, whatever. So they decided we're going to take him and make him the first. So they took him off the show and said, you're not going to go on a Bachelorette. We're going to give you your own show. So that's the other thing that made it kind of ingenuine too, because again, it's not like you really went out. It was like, oh, Black people are mad at what's going on right now, and they said there's not enough.
I feel like during
come over here.
Wait, I feel like during the racial injustice moment, though, I felt like everybody was catching smoke. Like Oscars, you don't ever have us up there. ABC, you ain't never had no Black Bachelorette. Aunt Jemima, you racist as hell. Like everybody was catching the smoke. So everybody was like, oh my God, we need to get a Black Bachelor.
And everybody threw those statements out, and everybody released statements and said, we're going to do better, so forth and so on. But now we're finally starting to see like what their version of better is. And if this is ABC's version of better, I think they should do better.
Well, we got to wait and see. Let's wait and see how this plays out.
Well, if it's no black, if it's less, how many contestants they get? 20?
Well, we saw in the previews last night, they're going to do some kind of mix up. I guess they don't normally do and bring like more in the middle of the show or something like that. So
that's what I'm saying. Let's just listen. I'm not Black, but I thought it was weird that they did the little aside, you know? Yeah, I thought that was weird because Chris was like, all right, you ready to meet the woman? He was like, nah, I kind of want to talk.
So one last thing
I just want to talk about my feelings.
Do y'all know that place is in Pennsylvania?
I learned that. Yeah. It's like, yep, I learned that.
And I looked at their hotel rooms, they expensive as heck. I was like, $425 a night. Oh, I'm only going here.
Yo, when I heard they were in Pennsylvania, I'm like, why they didn't pick me? Y'all ain't got nobody up there with no curly hair. Where the curly hair at?
They met the quota already. You know, they had a certain quota. Right. There's only 2 of them. So
well, look, let's see how this works out. It was weird. I think the little preface of I'm worried about people, you know, I don't know. I don't remember the exact verbiage, but it was like, I'm worried about people having the expectation that I should be picking a certain kind of woman. I even put that out there. And to be honest, it's a real thing.
It sure is.
It's a real thing. But I think that putting that in the front really set it up. Like it left a bad taste in your mouth a little bit.
Because now you're watching a show like this.
Right.
Instead of just watching it to see his love journey.
Right. It would have been different if in the middle of it, he comes down to a situation where he's like, you know what? You know, this has kind of been something I've been going through my whole life. Like, what part of me do I identify with? You know, like I really love this woman. And you know, if it would have came out organically as he's dating these women and he's like, well, I love this woman because she cooked corn, you know, she cooked chicken like my dad or whatever, or she knows how to make cornbread. But this girl, she don't know how to cook like my other side of the family, but she know how to, you know, play backgammon or whatever white people play.
Oh my God.
Like it would have been different because it would have came out organically. But it was bad because they set it up in the front. Mm-hmm. So how about Dex? You haven't said much about this. I mean, do you expect him to pick a Black woman? Or a woman of color?
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't hold him to that. You know, like the stuff that he's saying, if that's really how he feels, and you know, if that's what he wants, okay. And I understand why I'm guessing he put that out first. Because he just what it was. He's been dealing with it his whole life, so he's trying to address it early because it's not the first time. Whatever he's going to hear, it's not the first, and it probably won't be the last. So he got to stand firm in that because that's exactly who he is. Hey, I may like to date a white woman or date somebody that isn't Black because look at where I come from, and just for me and the things that I'm into, I gotta respect that.
What are you into?
I kind of like as far as just like I like all races. I really do. I really do. But as far as just like a preferred thing, it's almost just like what we're accustomed to, and that comes in certain not in certain colors, but in certain areas or for certain places. Like we like hip hop culture, rap. So whoever, you know, I'm probably dealing with is going to have to at least like that, as, you know, as far as I'm saying. So as far as, you know, I love white women, I love Asian women, I love black women, I love Hispanic women. I especially love black women. I've been raised by a black
Well, you say you
black
love
women.
black women third after
No. And
I was gonna say
it's
that. I knew
listen,
you
it's
were gonna say it.
well, listen, when you're living the truth, you get what I'm saying? I have a black woman. When you're living the truth, I can say it whatever number. This is, you know, it is what it is. But
Let me just say this. If I was on one of these shows, which I literally considered being on one of these shows, I would hate it if, because I'm Spanish, people were like, well, you got to pick a Spanish guy.
mm-hmm.
Like, you want me to pick the Dominican that just came off the boat that wears sandals and cook plantains every day? Like, why? You know, like,
Yep.
I would feel, no, I'm just trying to put myself in that person's shoes. I would feel like, well, why? Because I'm Spanish, I got to date a Spanish guy. I've literally, my whole life, I've dated all different kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
I've dated a white guy, a Spanish guy, a black guy.
I agree, but that, to your point, it's just the way that the show presented it. I think it was just not settling.
Nasty.
Like whatever the girl name was, what was her name, Taisha, whatever. When she came on in the middle of the season, I didn't care if who she dated. Like there were guys I liked that I was attached to, but it was like, okay, whoever she wants to date, and she wound up with a white guy, and nobody's in an uproar because she didn't like put this statement out. Like, listen, I ain't gonna be on here leaving with no brother, so I don't want these expectations. You know, she didn't put that out there. She just followed her love journey, and it was like,
Right.
okay, that's what she like. Okay, cool.
But I just think overall, like, because I agree with what you guys are saying. I think it should be preference based. Like, if you're a Spanish woman, a black woman, or a black man, and you're interested in everything, then everything should be presented. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to casting, I don't think you three should have been picked. I should have been picked. Like, I'm a black man, and I only date black women, so I should have been the one that was picked to be in this situation.
Oh, you want to be on the show, Dex?
I'm just saying, if you're trying to say
first.
If you're trying to say we're going to put the first black bachelor on there, you know, you've had shows where it's a white man and a bunch of white women, a white woman and a bunch of white men. So if you're going to promote this as the first black bachelor, why not have it the first black bachelor who's into black women? And then next season, Garnett can go in there. Then after that, Shana was in his mix. Then she can go on there. Then you can go in there. Like, let's just do it like that. Let's roll it out instead of just, as soon as you give the black people something, it's going to be somebody who likes everybody. And you don't do that with everybody.
I get that.
Listen, your method is too brash for TV, man. That's what they've been trying to keep people like you off television for a long time. You got too much influence, Dex.
I was gonna say, so look, this show's been so white for so long. None of us here have ever watched it, right? Yeah. Do you don't think it would be like a jolt, like a really strong jolt? I think maybe they try to ease it in a little bit, you know, like,
right.
Listen, you don't want to have me on TV. They're gonna be like, this girl right here, like, it might be a lot for, you know, Hillary in Oklahoma. Like, she might not be ready for Mina SayWhat, you know, like.
That's the issue. It's even like the Barack Obama thing, like, you know, because he's mixed too. So it's like, let's ease him in there. But it's like, ain't no easing. Throw Jesse Jackson's ass in there. Like don't ease nobody in there. Like, stop this.
You did not say Jesse Jackson.
You want Al Sharpton in there, huh?
Get them out of there. Bring Obama back.
Look, well, we'll see how this plays out. We'll see who he picks. And then if he ends up picking someone that's not of color, then I guess we're going to have a conversation about that. But I firmly believe in any of these shows, to be honest, it should be about love, you know? And it's funny, when I was talking to Lauren, you know, from Love is Blind, she was like, I've never dated outside of my race. And she's like, I would have never even been open to it had this show not, you know, put me in a room with a man that I couldn't see his, you know, what he looked like.
Yeah, I like that.
So at this point, throw some more black women in there, and he might like it. He don't know yet. He don't really know. He ain't have his sister really pull up on him. You understand? He ain't have a real Hispanic girl pull up on him.
First of all, the girl that pulled out the dildo, is she Spanish?
Oh, see, I didn't know it was dildos involved in this show.
Because she is a damn disgrace, girl.
I don't think she was.
Girl, how you go on national TV pulling out something that you using in your sexy time?
That was, to your point, that was the other thing, is they literally did say go get everyone, because it was like a lot of girls that you don't know what they are. Like you know they something, but you don't know what they are. So I felt like they were like, we're gonna get the exotics, the whites, the blacks, the one Hispanic, and the one Asian.
I was like, girl, what made you supposed to pull out something to make you connect to the man. You pulled out a dildo. You going on this show to find some. You pull out the one that you got in your drawer. You're not supposed to do that.
The best was when he said the prayer and he got distracted because he said he looked at the dildo.
He was like, oh, I don't know if I can compete with that.
He was wrong for that.
I gotta watch The Bachelor. I'm not watching this show. I don't care what y'all talking about.
You didn't watch it?
No, I'm not watching that.
This girl, boy, like you want to do things to help him remember you, like your first impressions. So one girl pulled up in like a pickup truck because she from North Carolina, he from North Carolina. They had tea, like cute stuff. This girl bought a dildo. Talking about how it's been hard during the and how she's looking for him to replace the dildo. But then she walked around with it all night. Like, so he has all the girls in his room and says this deep prayer because he's very spiritual. He says stay in the prayer. He goes, actually, I don't remember what I was about to say because I just looked up and saw the dildo.
Hey, she made an impression.
Yeah. Then she was walking around with it literally all night, tapping people on the shoulder with it.
Oh man, that's awful.
Yeah, look, literally, it's turning into Flavor of Love. Dex, I think you're gonna get your wish, okay? No, but listen, honestly, I'm interested to see. I want to see who he picks, and I want to see
the ratings. So I want to see
his brother kind of cute. I don't know if he's single, but he a little cute. He looked like he could be from West Philly with his little beard.
West Philly.
He's kind of cute. I was like, why y'all didn't put me on the show?
I would really love to see the ratings and the responses from people who are fans of The Bachelor. So that's one thing I was really looking forward to seeing, because I know a lot of people who like, oh, I love The Bachelor. I can't wait to watch it, this, then, the third. And I haven't seen them tweeting the thing, but they put up black squares on June 2nd. They put the black squares, but they're not watching the Black Bachelor. I'm just saying.
I saw a lot of Bachelor fans tweet, and they were tweeting more about the girls and the show and what they liked.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them, everybody said he was fine.
He is fine.
He was really cute.
He is. I want to be on the show.
He's really cute.
Why y'all didn't pick me? I didn't even know this was going on.
He's supposed to be nerdy, but he's cute.
That's what I think. You know what? I think that he would be too proper for me. Like,
do you hear this? Do you hear this nonsense? Do you hear the first sentence? Holy look, good guys don't stand a fucking chance out here. Do you hear this?
Mina
say not stand a chance.
I love her. She's only the most honest women I know when it comes to like men and dating and stuff like that. It's amazing to me because most women aren't that honest at all. Like they would never say like, oh, he's too proper for me. Like they would say some other like off the wall thing that makes no sense instead of just being flat out. Hey, look, I want somebody with a little bit of street. Like you ain't got
a little bit, just a tiny bit.
Cause when you too proper, when I go there, cause I do come from Union City, New Jersey. You know, I did grow up in Jersey City. When I go there, the very few times I do, I don't want you looking at me like,
like what is
we wouldn't mix, cause I'd be like, Mina. Texting my friends, yo, this girl is ghetto.
One of my guy friends, Derek, that worked at the Sixers, he used to say to me, you don't like him because he's nice. You want them guys to be like, come here, girl, get over here. And I'm like,
y'all love that. Y'all love that. I can't stand it.
No, you know, I'm a little spicy. So I need somebody that could be like, Mina, I said what I said. Right. And I'll be like, all right. But to an extent.
Right. Not like Turner-ish.
Right. We don't want Ike. You know, we don't want that. I don't want like I want somebody who knows the balance. So I don't think he knows the balance. We'll see though.
Right.
We'll see. All right, guys. Any other shows you want to add? Anything?
We all showed out.
We all showed out. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching the 159th episode, our first live stream on Facebook. I don't know how many people are watching. I'm not allowed to see, but even if it was 2 people, 4 people, I don't care. We appreciate you. Our YouTube numbers are growing. So big shout out to Sin Santana, who reposted our interview. So shout out to Sin, and you can watch that on YouTube. As well, the Mina's House podcast, just search, and we're gonna go live on Facebook every week, and then you can listen as well on any of the other platforms, and you can follow us on social media at Mina's House Pod. So thank you guys for listening and watching. I'm Mina Say What.
I'm Shana B.
Garnett Briscoe.
Jack Stuckey.
Oh my God, our outro is so short now. Thank you guys for watching. We'll talk to you next week.